Good afternoon. Welcome to OptionsTender. It's Thursday, November 20th, 2025. Welcome, everybody. What a move today. You know what? I have to give kudos to the traders in the Discord. Thank you so much, everybody there. We have a wonderful community calling out these shots. We're looking to turn net long now in the Discord, and majority, not everybody's on the same page, but here just for a bounce. And I'll show you in this video exactly what pattern we're looking for. There's two patterns in one, but neither here nor there. It doesn't matter which one you choose. They're kind of the same thing. And so we're doing this intraday about 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to get these videos intraday, consider becoming a YouTube supporter. It's 99 cents, comes with the Discord, comes with Cheddar Alert. I took on a trade because of the Cheddar Alert today with MSTR, okay? And I'll give you a hint on that. I'll show you exactly what we're doing, and we'll see how that trade goes. But I just want to give you an example of some of the things you see the options flow going into some names. When you're going long on something, to compare it with those names, it's a really fabulous way to give you more confidence in your trade. So a couple of us took that trade. Anyway, so I'd like to see you in there. Okay, let's go through SPX, IBIT, that's the Bitcoin ETF, and MJ. We took a trade on that today, initiated a swing, and yeah, I think that, and the VIX. Okay, so checking things out, we have SPX. Here's the naked chart. It's nice to just look at this. We started off with the weekly time frame for one reason and one reason only. The 20-week moving average, so important. We're coming down to it for really the first time. There was one earlier time on this move to get over it, but we're really just coming back to test it. And that's going to be a key area. I don't think we'll just zip right through it. If it is, then we're in crash mode, y'all. But we came close enough. So we started, as we ground today down to the bottom here, we started turning our ship around for a nice, we're net positive. I guess you can say positive deltas, net long on our options portfolio. As we got towards the lows here, and you just never know if you're going to tag it. I mean, we just missed that by a couple cents there, you know, didn't tag it. Is that the same case here? Sure. It could. We have a little room left to go if it wants to spike through, no big deal. All right. So that's it on the weekly, the daily time frame. Now, this is exactly what we've been looking for. Obviously, yesterday we didn't go straight down to tag those lows where we're looking for. Again, we have more room if you want to go to the 100. And we're looking at all these lows. These are all wicks. So that's a big range of where this could be. All right. I could, and this isn't fair to just, you know, always, but this is a zone. All right. All the way down to here. That's a zone of support. I hope you guys realize that. So it doesn't have to go all the way to the bottom. It's just wicking right back out of that zone right now. So we're at support. So we don't need to go any further. And all we're looking for is a dead cat bounce. All right. We do need to be prepared if the market wants to move any higher, but we'll look at that into our bounce. Now the 8 is moving lower, so our momentum is down, and then our trend is also curling over here. And so the market with the 20, it's going to pinch itself in here. All right, between the 20, 50 and the 20 week underneath, I think we're going to need a little bit more time sideways. All right, and the way you can look at it, we were looking for, I'm not going to bounce around the different charts. I'll just do it right here for you. We're looking for a neckline. So we're looking for that neckline here. Could be done. Could spike through a little bit more. We do have put protection on out to tomorrow, as a matter of fact. And just to let you know what is on our mind is if this thing is going to continue to crash, you're going to need the help of Apple and Google, and those have just been holding up this whole time. If those start to reverse, then obviously you're going to need these other stocks that have been beat to hell to start carrying the market on this bounce. But yeah, so those will give you some clues there. So at this point, I think this leading diagonal is finished, and we'll be looking for a retracement. I'm doing a lot of the work here on here so I can move around. We're going to look at some of the indicators too. We'll flow through those really quick. And so we got to that 20 moving average and also the 50 and rejected hard from there. And so that's now this is where I suspect we'll come back up to and test some of these retracements again. So our retracement, so our retracement we were looking at was here. Okay, we got to that golden pocket, got to a new low. Now we're looking for the full retracement of the entire thing. And in the whole scheme of things, all we're doing is looking for this sideways to down movement until we break range. Once we break down low from this convincingly, that's going to be the large move that takes us probably all the way to the 20 or 200 moving average here. Okay. And here's another way to look at it. That's your left shoulder head and will form a right shoulder. I know some people have been calling right shoulder already, but I just didn't see that in the lower time frame. Also, your bearish count 1 2 1 2 setup, and this should just crash if that's the case. But I don't think that I'm not in that camp yet. Okay, that we're gonna. I know I used the word crash in the thumbnail, but that's just to get people to click on. It's no secret. So I want you guys to watch these videos, and hopefully, if I can snag you and watch the video, then maybe I can hold you in here with the content. So I do appreciate everybody that's been supporting, and thank you so much for all the nice comments and the likes and subscriptions. Excuse me. So here's the other way you can look at it. If you're looking at the downtrend, there's your downtrend line here. Now you have a descending triangle. So you'll probably see some of those on X or YouTube, wherever you're watching other videos and posts. And what I suspect is that retracement is going to go near or to that downtrend line. And we'll call it the about 6,800 level. Doesn't have to make it up there. You got to be careful around the 50 and the 20. But so far, price has just been going through it, back tested. But it's often when you get a rip your face off rally, you have short squeezes. We can get through that 50 again and tag that 20. So I wouldn't doubt that we made it, if we make it to this downtrend line for our initial 1 2 setup. And that's your bear setup for another move lower. All right. I hope you like how I kind of switched this up and took a naked chart, and that way you guys can kind of do the same thing if you're new to trading or you just get a different perspective. We did have Vixpiration, so that allowed the VIX to start moving. And when we get to the VIX, it's going to be a key point that we're looking at in the Discord when we finally get that. So anyway, let me go to that in just a minute. I'm getting ahead of myself. So here's our trend. Trend is still down. We rejected hard off of that 20 moving average. So yes, we're at support too. So you have to be cautious. Either way, the trend is down. All right, looking for a bounce. McClellan oscillator, it's going more negative. That's what I was telling you. It can go more negative. Now that we're at support, and this is so deep in here, we could get that snapback rally. It can even come all the way up to the top to overbought conditions by the time we get up there as well, if we get up there. Okay, so here is the key. On the daily time frame, that's powerful for how we trade. Okay, we trade within swings that are 2 weeks, 3 weeks out. on average, we have positive divergence. Okay, we have to be very careful of this. Now, yes, this can continue to oscillate down here, but a lot of times when you get these divergences, it just especially on the lower end, you just get a snapback. Okay, we're also down here. We oscillated on the slow stochastic, and this is ready to curl up. Okay, so we're watching this with each candle, and the MACD getting into bearish territory. There's going to be a time. This is not a straight move all the way down. Okay, I think this is going to oscillate all the way down, but we're going to that blue line is going to retest that MACD line. It's going to test that 0 line. That's what we're looking for before a continuation. Or I'm not looking for a crossover. Not looking for this crossover. That'd be very, very bullish if that were the case. DMARC. We have a 5 count to the downside. No setup here. Let's go to SPY so we can get the money flow. If you're not familiar with the money flow index, I love that index. It shows it shows divergences. It shows money flowing in and out. All right, money's flowing out. Distribution, we had negative divergence up here, this distribution, and it's continuing to oscillate. But again, not in a straight line, but I do suspect we'll get in this position down low at some point. So no setup on that. Here's a Bollinger Band. You got that big rally with NVIDIA. That was a buy signal. We're back at that point again with positive divergence into a buy off of this Bollinger Band setup. All right, so careful if you're short here. Volume shelf, the oscillator is going negative. Let's see if the shelf can show us anything. So same kind of thing. We're trading here, making lots of volume in this trade. We're down lower, but we're protecting the gap. All right, I talked about that in earlier videos. And once price decides to get through that gap, it's going to be a quick move to 643, even 635 or so, and then so on. All right. Let's go to the VIX. All right, here was the key with the VIX today, and we're right on it still. So, obviously you got to be cautious, but we had this downtrend line. We kind of have this equilibrium playing out. All right, rejected off of it first, and then we came up to it and rejected off of it. But I said, hey, wait a minute, we might tag that again. So watch that into these prices here. We hit the resistance here at 28, and we're at that downtrend line, and we're about to get a fake break. And so that's the key. Is this going to stay above and we keep going higher? Then obviously the market is continuing to move lower. But are we going to get that VIX crush? And that's what we're looking for to happen into next week. All right. So we held that 200. We held the momentum to 8. We held the 20. The trend is up. Momentum's up. But our cycle, we're looking at the 23rd. Okay. I believe that's the weekend. But anyway, the window going into the 24th, early next week, we'll be looking for this VIX to crush. All right, it had its rising phase. Could you argue that it already had its low? Absolutely. All right, we came and tested that 200, and so we're going to want to see this continue to overcome these levels here, the 28, and continue further, making a new high possibly. If you want to see this bear market just really rip in here. I know that that 1-2-1-2 setup is there. I'm not so sure that's going to be the case, but then we also have a bounce coming up. If this continues to be over 10%, it will give us an 85% chance that in the next 2 days we'll have a green day. All right. So again, I'm looking for a VIX crush and then a whole new cycle to the upside. And so we're prepared for this to come down hard. I don't know how far, and then break out officially from this point. Now we will probably be able to draw, more trend lines and such, but we're going to keep it simple right now. Okay. Now, MSTR. MSTR, why are we getting bullish on this? Well, look at this zone. This is a good, it's actually, like I said, it's a zone right here. You get zones for supply and demand areas, and we're really into that zone right now, right here, right at the bottom of it. Of course, things can spike through, super volatile stock. I'm not sure if you can draw a channel from here. I haven't tried that. No, that didn't hold anything. So that's pretty much what we have right here. And now on the same note, this doesn't have to be the end all be all. Okay. This could be ABC. Let's see if we have a extension from here. This is the kind of stuff I do in my individual analysis memberships. So when I put a trade on, I go in there and I show you how I look at things and where we're at. But we're coming into this this demand zone right now. Again, it could spike through, and that's pretty much it. We're not going to go into depth there. Let's just see where this holds, if it holds. And here's your 16 RSI, positive divergence on the daily time frame. Slow Stoke wants to cross over, we're about to get, and we're in that bottom range here. It's just, the setup is fantastic. So we gave ourselves a few weeks on that trade. I took a lotto for tomorrow to see if it wants to do anything. We'll see. And you got Bollinger Band, you got everything. You have the buy and the Bollinger Band's been pushing and pushing on there. So the buy is over and over, right? So you can get bounces through it, but no complete one. This is a really, really good setup into support. Bollinger Band. Money flow, positive divergence on money flow. That's a big deal. So there's accumulation here. All right. So there's master. That's what we gave you there. And then we're looking out to the cheddar. I'm not going to pull that up, but the cheddar flow, it gave us the 202.5 was one of the options flow, and then 200 was a big one as well. So around 200 and 202, this zone, the top of this area right here, is where it gave us a trade. And so with this wedge, we're at a wedge bottom forming, we should get this nice bounce up into this area here according to some of that options flow. All right, so let's sorry, that's my wife there, she's on the phone. Okay, so looking at IBIT, that channel didn't work out so well, the channel that we were drawing on there, but let me just do this with you. This seems to work out pretty well. So if you put a channel out here, and the theme was, I had a video that I made for members, and it says something like head and shoulders is the theme. And we're looking at this left shoulder, head, and right shoulder over here. So that looks really good to me. Here is what I'm going to take this because it's not working out well and go to really just the bearish scenario. And so our bearish scenario is we broke down from a wedge, okay? And this was an impulse wave, and we're looking for some sort of bounce, and we're in that range now. So we'll be looking for that bounce, the back test, and that will give you your left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and a 1-2 setup, bear setup to the downside. Okay. Okay, sorry. Conversation was getting a little bit loud there, so sorry about that. Okay, so on to the next. We have a setup here. We're over sold. Do we have DMARC? No setup there. We have the money flow index, deeply oversold. That's accumulation. Bollinger Band, you know the drill. Looks just like master. Really quick. Down to the bottom of the range once again. Oversold at the 14 handle. It can go for, it can go more oversold, but we're looking for a bounce. MJ. Fantastic setup here. Now get ready to rumble. We're looking at a left shoulder, head, right shoulder. In the big picture, we have the neckline right here. All right, we have the neckline, and we'll look for a breakout, a big breakout on this one. So I don't know what news is coming when, but when it does, this is going to explode. So we did come and close the gap with oversold conditions. We have all the same conditions. Look at that. That's so deeply oversold. Insane. Bollinger Band, same situation. We're looking for this to, at minimum, snap back. But what we're doing is we have a 1-2 setup. So this entire move, which completed at this top, not this top, MSauce completed at the high was this one here, right here, but we have an A, B, and an impulse C for an expanded flat, which gave us a double top there. All right, and we're right into the golden pocket. That's our buy zone. That's why we're swinging. We'll be looking for this to, you can confirm with the candle. You want to see if you want a candle confirmation. You'll look for. We have an inside candle right now, but the next green candle to close above this one, if this one ends up being a low, or this one close above it. Oh, getting a nice little move there. So maybe a close above this one. This candle here will give your buy of the body. Okay. Now, going back to, let's go to SPY on the 65. All right, so here's your traditional look. And it's starting to break down a little bit more. We got a nice little bounce there. That's fine. We have lots of room to the downside. We have our neckline that's possible. We have room to the downside, not lots of room. So maybe we close this gap. Maybe we come a little bit further down here. We are prepared for that. And like I said, this neckline, it could be straight across if we get our low in here, or if it starts to close these gaps, then we get our neckline that would be just a little bit lower there instead of horizontal. All right, so any of that still stands. We're in the zone. All right, leave that put protection on. We also have a wedge set up here as well. So here's what we're looking at for. Well, let's get through these indicators. Sorry, I'm bouncing around so much. Lots on the mind. Trying to think and talk at the same time. I mean, come on. All right, so everything's looking lower. Then you have your positive divergence here. Now, you could argue that you have a lot of room to really get this market going to the downside. So we're prepared for that. Okay, but as of right now, we're just building up positive divergence. Positive here, another low with positive divergence. Okay, but that divergence probably isn't going to kick in until you get, and we're almost there. It's at the 34 handle, so it looks like we have some room to go to get to that 30 handle where it starts to turn green, and that would be your oversold conditions. So it does appear that we probably will close that gap or so, and then we'll add. Again, for the bounce, we'll add a little bit more call delta just to even our account out so it doesn't get too lopsided on the negative side, okay? Positive divergence here, even in the near term, from this low to this low. We didn't get a crossover yet. So if we do get another crossover, I mean, let it go, let it go. It can just keep moving. All right, so SMH, that's actually a good thing. We got this SMH. We were looking for all the wave counts all the wave counts seem to have completed, but SMH didn't have a new low yet today, and it just now did. All right, so we're looking to complete all these. This is a beautiful look here. This is a beautiful wedge style move. I love how crisp, clean it is for this. This could head lower into it. You have support underneath. Again, this could drip all day and gap down tomorrow. And then look for probably we have Thanksgiving coming up here. So look for a floating market, okay? It's possible that we just start to float, get our bounce, break out from here, our lower high. So all this could happen next week and maybe into 2 weeks. Don't know how long this will take. How things have been moving, probably pretty quick. So if we do get our bounce that we're looking for, again, here's our wedge. Get the bounce that we're looking for right there, then we'll probably see some of these retracements going on in next week. Who knows? Catalyst happens and then boom. And then we fail from there. Or it could waste time and we can get a flat pattern that just, retests the lows. And basically, this is just one big sideways move for over a month now. All right. Oh, tag there. Looks like we're still dripping, but almost to that gap. All this positive. This is accumulation, you guys. I'm not even used to saying that word, accumulation. It's been so long that we've had these lows in here. So let's duplicate this. Boom. And we have this positive divergence in here. That's a beautiful work of art. That's when you go long. Bollinger Band, same thing. Deeply oversold with positive divergence. I know that's not deeply oversold right there, but we're getting this positive divergence. In other words, within the market is strengthening, but these big tech stocks are clearly holding things down. Positive divergence. We talked about this in the last video. We have it. We have positive divergence on the Elliott oscillator. All of these are kind of lining up saying, hey, at least at bare minimum, don't be short anymore. All right. And as for our count, all right, here's our count. I don't suspect this will be a channel. But I was just seeing if price would have made it up there, we would have checked it out. So I'll leave it on there for now. But what I'm looking for is this to be a 1, 2, and yes, that could still be that expanded flat. And so I'm not worried about how you put your 1 there. It doesn't matter. 1, 2, 3, and then that wave 4, that nasty spill there that NVIDIA did, the gap up, was wave 4, right, and failed at the 50% or the 60% when it was down here. Now we're doing the full length retracement wherever this ends, and we're just about at the trend line bottom right here. So let's see if price stops at this point. A good guess that it would, and then we'll put our neckline wherever it decides to stop, and then wave 5 appears to be in. I had wave 5 all the way over here because I thought it would take time for that to happen. Here's 1 day. Very volatile. Okay, so that's our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave move, and now that 1 is about in, or it's in already, and we'll be looking for a wave 2 correction into, like I said, the trend line is going to be up here, not this. Not the channel, but we'll have this trend line come right into the 62% retracement, 50, 60, this box here, the golden zone for wave 2, and then we'll look for much lower prices after that, and you can have your measured move, your head and shoulder, or your descending triangle, all that good stuff, okay? So that would be where you can draw if you're not familiar. On a traditional sense, I think I did it already. There you go. So on your traditional look here, you just take a line, put it down to wherever your neckline, wherever that neckline ends up being, and then from the breakdown zone, that's where your measured move is. If I can stop messing up the charts. It's my first day. And that measured move brings you right to the lows here. All right. We'll close that gap, lows, and that should be a good wave 3, get a bounce, and then probably 4 into 5 at that. And then we'll show a bigger analysis on the weekend of the higher time frame so you can get to see exactly where our targets are and where that support that we're looking for the lower level is. All right. So thanks for all the likes, all the subscriptions. We appreciate you guys. Don't forget to hit that notification bell because we try to do these each and every day so we can get these videos out to you. And it's kind of like a storyline where you look. I like how this is an expanded move here. You know, that if you just pull back and get rid of all these lines, let's just go to default. So if you just go back here, all it is an expanding move. And so that's why it's oscillating from side to side. And this eventually will break down. All right, this wedge. Beautiful move. And so it'll probably hit the top of the wedge before breaking down again. All right, thanks for joining us here at OptionsTender. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you tomorrow.